The time is here. It's time for the Avengers Endgame review. Hey guys, how are you doing today? This is David Lucas here. Now, welcome back to my channel. Now, today is going to be a really long anticipated movie review that I've been waiting for so long. I'm finally sitting here to talk about Avengers Endgame. Now, Avengers Endgame's got the Russo brothers coming back to direct. They just directed Infinity War. Now they're back here directing Endgame. And I gotta say, this movie is probably, I'm going to say right off the bat, that this movie is probably my favorite MCU movie. It is top Winter Soldier. And I didn't think anything could have topped Winter Soldier, and it did. I've seen this movie 3 times now. I wanted to wait and see it a few more times before I would say if it would top it. And I have to lay it down. It tops Winter Soldier. It does. This movie is everything I've ever wanted to see in a Marvel movie, in a comic book movie in general, and more. You get what you want in the movie, but that's not all. Like, you're really that's just a little bit is what you're getting. Like, you get what you want, and that's not even close to how much more you're going to be getting. It's not even close. I really love how this movie starts out. It starts out with Hawkeye with his family. They're kind of having like a family picnic, it looks like. He's teaching his daughter to, shoot the arrows, possibly become the new Hawkeye or new Hawk Girl. Possibly, because I know in the comics she did take up the mantle in the comics. And right there, when the movie starts, you can just tell that, oh god, this is gonna be sad. Because it starts out with, it's happy. It starts out being, everyone's all happy, and that's just lasting for a couple seconds. And sure enough, he turns around, turns back to look at his daughter. She's gone. He starts calling for his other kids. They're gone, and you get the idea. It went bad, and I love how it goes to dark. And then we get the title, the Avengers title, and all the great, magical, wonderful stuff while we go and watch these movies. I'm really liking the beginning of this movie, how we kind of get a feel like the despair in the world. We kind of see how, that everyone's just depressed. Like, no one's really outside anymore. No one's talking. There's people going through group therapy sessions with Cap. And, some people are moving on. Some people are getting through it. But it's hard. It's really hard. And I think it takes place like 21 days or something after the events of Infinity War. Captain Marvel gets Tony from space, but even though he's about to die in space that we see in the trailers, he's, almost learning out of life. She ends up popping up, which I think everyone was just speculating that she was going to do that, and she did. She ended up being the one to save Tony, and she brought him back down to Earth. And I love kind of the first meeting with Tony and Steve, because that basically is the first meeting they have since Civil War. And Tony is kind of rips Cap a new one. He just lays it all on Cap and tells him, like, look, you weren't there for me. You weren't there. We weren't together when we lost. When you said that we would be. And we weren't. And I love that. It kind of hit me. It was like, damn, he really went there with Cap. And you can tell in Cap's face, too, that Cap knows that he's right. That Cap knows that, yeah, we didn't lose together. We lost separately, and that's even worse. Basically come up with the idea that they need to get the time stones from Thanos and find him in order to snap their fingers and get everyone back from snapping the fingers. I guess the gauntlet works by whatever you choose it to do, I guess. That's how it works. I don't know, I guess that's how it does. And in my prediction video, you guys would see that I predicted that they probably would go and try to find Thanos, get the stones, and find him and defeat him in the very beginning. And that would be their first thing. And sure enough, they do. Like, in the first, 20 minutes of the movie, they go find Thanos. And Thanos, when you find him on the farm, you see that he's really, decaying. He looks hurt. He's weak. And you end up finding out that when they show up and they, tackle Thanos and all that, they find out that the stones are gone. And Thanos tells them, I destroyed the stones. I came here and I destroyed them. So now you can't undo what I did. What I did is done. And I like that little last encounter with him and Nebula, where he kind of looks at Nebula and he kind of tells her, like, good job or something like that. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he basically said, like, something good, or he's like, I misunderstood you or something like that. And as soon as he says that, Thor cuts his head off. Because Thor, even from the beginning of the movie, Thor just wasn't talking. Thor was pissed. Because Thor feels like a failure. He feels like he failed everything. And once Thanos tells him there's no undoing what we did, Thor just had it. And he cut his head off and basically walks away. And I love that shot of him walking away and then everything just goes blurred. I don't know, I thought that shot was beautiful with him walking away and all the blurred. And now after that, we get the 5-year jump. And I am happy that we got a time jump. I was hoping that we would have. I thought it would have made sense, and it does. And they give us a 5-year time jump. You know, you see Cap shaving his beard off. Well, I think he already did in the beginning to shave his beard off. But I really like the slow burn that we have in the 5-year jump. It's a really nice slow burn. And I heard some people complain about it after I seen the movie. Some people on Twitter were complaining that the middle of the movie, at the beginning and middle of the movie, seems a little too slow. But I have to disagree heartily on that, because I feel like this movie needed a slow burn. After what we just got with Infinity War, that movie was just fast-paced, balls-to-the-wall action. In this one, we needed a slow burn. We needed to get down and gritty. It was I noticed halfway throughout this movie, I honestly forgot I was watching an Avengers movie, because it was so heavily delved into their characters and what they're going through from these 5 years with, you know, half of the whole world and galaxy destroyed. We see that there's pockets of, you know, the Avengers trying to keep order, some in Wakanda that are still alive, Black Widow's kind of running the show a little bit, Cap is running a therapy thing going on. Captain Marvel, she's out in the whole galaxy because, like she said, that there are hundreds of other worlds that were affected by what Thanos did. She's the only one that can go out and take care of those worlds now, because most of the Guardians are gone except for Nebula and Rocket. So she has to be out. So she's not really in the movie much, I noticed. She's really not in the movie much at all, because she's out in the in the cosmics doing all that, taking care of that. And we find out in this movie during the middle of the slow burn that Tony has a daughter. He had a daughter, and it was very heavily rumored that he was going to have a daughter back in Infinity War because of how Pepper Potts and them were talking in the very beginning. They kind of hinted towards that she might be pregnant, and turns out she was. And they end up having a little girl. And I honestly, those scenes with Tony and her was, for some reason, to me, just filled my heart up. Like, seeing Tony Stark, the man who we knew from the very first Iron Man, now 22 movies later, 11 years later, and 22 movies later, that we see him now being a father and taking care of his kid and just being a regular dude living off in, like, up north, it looks like, in a cabin. And he's just living a quiet life with Pepper and his kid. And I love that. It made me honestly feel really satisfied that Tony found some peace. What the hell they're showing us with Ronan, what he's going through now. He's being called Ronan, Hawkeye, but now he's being called Ronan. Like, he's basically just killing people. He's wanted. He's killing, like, innocent people almost. And he's just going on a full rampage now because his family's dead and he doesn't know what the hell to do anymore. Another great thing in this 5-year time jump, we see what's going on with Hulk. Now it's Smart Hulk. We actually got Smart Hulk for once. I never thought in a million years we'd ever get a Smart Hulk in any movie, but yet we do, and it's fucking amazing. He's great. Having Mark Ruffalo, his voice and his face on the Hulk body, it's great. And I love that scene with the kids come and they want to take a picture of the Hulk, and then Ant-Man is like, hey guys, can you want to take a picture of Ant-Man? And they're just like, we don't know who you are. And that whole scene was just really good. I really love that scene. Speaking of Ant-Man, I love that Ant-Man came back, and I love the randomness of how he came back. It's not something really, nitpicky, but I love the randomness. Is that he just came back from basically mice messing around in the truck, in the van. That's how he comes back, and I think it's great. That's an awesome way to bring him back. It's random. It's not like someone was trying to bring him back. It's just random, and almost like that's how it should have happened. And I like it. I really like that. Now we move back on to Thor. Now we figure out where Thor's been up to the past 5 years, and he's not doing too good. But I love it. I gotta say, I love it. They give us fat Thor, fat drunk Thor. Thor just had enough of it, and he basically was like, alright, I'm a failure. He went, started the new Asgard, and just basically became a drunk, hanging out with Korg makes the choice. I love that. That whole sequence of Korg and the Fortnite thing, I love that whole sequence. It was hilarious. I thought it was comedy gold, in my opinion. And Thor's all fat and constantly drinking, and he doesn't even want to go and help them. And then Rocket looks at him and goes, "But what if there's booze with it?" And he's like, "All right, yeah, there's booze. Okay, then I'll come." It was awesome. And Thor, I just love it. I love the look of Thor. As he's fat, has the long hair, has a big beard, wearing the glasses. And he starts talking about Jane and basically every bad thing that happened in his life, his mom dying. And it was awesome. I thought it was great how they did Thor in this. It was fucking awesome. And I gotta say, the plan, the overall plan in the movie is a great plan. I thought it was just a excellent plan, honestly. Now, the big plan of this movie is the quantum realm, because since Ant-Man came back from the quantum realm, he realized that he can go back in time. He starts telling them, like, guys, we can actually do this and go back in time and get so small, go in the quantum realm and go back in time. And I really like how they explain time travel. It's really different in this movie than it is in any other movies, I feel like. In this movie, the way how they explain it is that if you go back in time and you change something, you're not changing the future. You're not changing our future. You're changing that timeline's future, and you're completely now rewriting a completely new timeline for that parallel universe. So you're basically making new worlds by messing stuff up. And I thought that was kind of cool. And so their kind of plan was that they're going to go in time back into the first Avengers movie, I think the second Thor, and the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie to find the stones. And they end up, that was a big trip and a big mission that they're going on. They put on those cool new suits that I thought were awesome. The quantum realm suits, they were beautiful, awesome suits. And they end up splitting up in teams. I think as Cap, Hulk, and Iron Man and Ant-Man go to the first Avengers movie. In 2012, when New York Battle of New York, they go there to look for one of the stones. Hawkeye, or Ronin, which he's called now, and Black Widow, they go to Vormir to find the Soul Stone. And Nebula and Rhodey go to the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And Thor and Rocket go to the second Thor movie, and it was awesome. I honestly thought that whole sequence of everyone going back in time, I thought that everything in it was great. Especially with the Captain America versus Captain America. Captain America once never ever thought he would say this. Says Hail Hydra. Captain America says Hail Hydra in this movie. Like, what? When did you ever think that would ever happen outside of comics? But it happened. He says Hail Hydra. And I like how they tease a little bit for the Loki TV show coming out. I think they did, because he grabbed the cube and jumped out of the timeline. So he never got captured in that timeline. And I love the people that they bring in, too, when they're all out in their timelines. They bring in Thor's mom back. They bring Jane. Natalie Portman comes back as Jane for a little scene. Robert Redford comes back as Alexander Pierce. Frank Grillo comes back as Crossbones. They all come back for these little scenes, and I love it. It was really awesome that they would come back for this, because most of those people you never would think they would come back for movies like this, but they do, and it's really heartwarming and feels great that they did that. And where the excitement gets a little sad in that is with Black Widow and Ronin when they're looking for the Soul Stone on the planet Vormir, and the Red Skull pops up and tells them it's a soul for a soul. And that scene when they're fighting over the soul, like over who jumps, I was on the edge of my seats. I didn't know who was gonna go, because I thought either or could have just fell. And I was like, oh my gosh, oh no, Black Widow, Hawkeye, no. I was on the edge of my seats, and when Black Widow falls, it really hurt. It did, and I didn't expect it to hurt that much, but it got me, and seeing her body on the ground, and Ronan's reaction to it, because he didn't want her to go. He wanted to go. He didn't want her to fall. It was heartbreaking, and it's sad that whatever it takes, it goes back to the trailers when they're saying whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, that's basically it. And it was so good. It was so beautifully well done. That scene where Cap and Iron Man go back into, I think, the 70s, and Tony sees his father, and he has that beautiful conversation with his father. And I love how he says right at the bat, I have a kid. And is his way of telling his dad, I have a kid, I have a daughter, you know, and this is kind of a way his way good saying goodbye to his dad, and it's something that I feel like anyone would want in any kind of situation, whether it's not like a parent or just any loved one that passes in general. I feel like everyone wishes we could have that one last moment, that last goodbye. And Tony had that last goodbye with his dad, and I love it. It touched me every time I seen it. I got teary-eyed up on it. First, second, and third time seeing it, it teared me up watching it because it was really impactful and really just emotional. And after this point, this is when this movie just gets emotional throughout all of it. After this, you're just an emotional wreck after this part of the movie. End up collecting all the stones, and then Hulk ends up snapping. And once he does, we start seeing that birds are flapping and the phone starts ringing. And you're starting to think, oh my god, it worked. The snapped work. And then Thanos from the Guardians of the Galaxy version came back from that time into this time. So now there's a new Thanos. Well, not necessarily new Thanos. This is the Thanos from the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, 2014 Thanos. So he's a very different Thanos than what we got in Infinity War. And I love how they show that he is different, that he's still the same Thanos, but he's more bloodthirsty now because he's seen the future. He knows what he accomplishes. He knows there's no stopping him in a way. He knows. So he just doesn't care anymore. He's just a full-on bloodthirsty, crazy tyrant now. And I really like that. Now we're getting into the final act of the movie, which is literally probably the best, not even probably, it is the best final act to any comic book movie ever. Like, this final act had every single thing that a comic book fan and me and everyone, just I feel like anyone who loves the MCU have dreamed of seeing, and we finally see it. All the Avengers coming back because the snap happened. Remember, oh, that's right, they did a snap, so they're all back. Everyone comes back. The Warriors of Wakanda, the Asgardians, everyone, the Guardians of the Galaxy, they all come up, all crowd up behind Captain America, and Thanos and his army are on the other side. And Captain America gets, oh, that's another thing too, that Captain America is worthy now of the hammer. Captain America holds Thor's hammer, holds his shield, and says, Avengers, assemble. And that, I lost my shit when that happened. When I first seen the movie, I literally did. I was one of the people in the theaters that screamed like, yes! When it happened. It was great. Now, everything in the final act, everything is just perfection. It's literal perfection. Just like throughout this whole movie is. This whole movie is just perfect. Let's talk about the big two deaths. Iron Man and Caps. Iron Man's death was... It hurt me. It hurt me, but in the best way possible, because there's no other better way you could have done it. Iron Man gets the gauntlet, and he says, I am Iron Man, and snaps his fingers, takes out Thanos and his whole army. But because of that, we learned in the beginning that Thanos, it damaged your body when you use the stone. So, and since Tony Stark is just a human, it basically decayed half of his whole body. And that last scene when Pepper and, oh god, I'm feeling emotional just talking about it, when Pepper and Tony are talking to each other, and this final pass goodbye, and Pepper tells him, we're okay, Tony, we're okay, don't worry, we're okay. And Peter gets his final goodbye. Oh god, here comes the man tears. And says his goodbye to Tony, and it was so hard. It was so just, got you right in there. I immediately start getting flashbacks of the first Iron Man movie, the second Iron Man movie, Iron Man 3, the first Avengers movie. Just a whole bunch of memories of Tony just coming in my head of Iron Man. It was really a heartfelt ending to him. And we get his funeral at the end, and that's when his funeral was beautiful, I gotta say. With how they were panning the camera was literally like a comic book. How they're panning, it was like you're flipping pages in a comic book. It was beautiful, I thought. The Cap's eventual, not death, but his retirement, basically. Captain America, he needs to go put all the stones that they collected back where they found them so they don't screw up any more timelines. So they had to put him right back where they found him, and he does. He goes back there, and then they try getting him back. Well, he doesn't come back, so we think. And then Bucky sees someone sitting down on a bench, and him and Sam walk over there, and his old Captain America, his old Steve Rogers sitting there. He's talking to Sam. He basically tells him that I decided to have a little bit of that life that Tony was telling me to have. And he went back to the 40s, and he stayed with Peggy. He went back to the 40s and stayed with Peggy, and he lived his life with Peggy. And he gave the shields. This is probably one gripe out of a whole movie, is that I felt like Bucky deserved the shield. In my opinion, I felt like Bucky did. But Bucky gave Sam the permission, because Sam even said in there, is like, don't you think you're giving us to the wrong person? And Bucky looks over at him and nods his head like that, and Bucky gave him the permission to have the shield. So Sam is going to be our new Captain America going forward with it. And I'm fine with it. Even though I would have chosen Bucky, I'm still fine with Sam being a Captain America. And we get the final shot of the 1940s of Steve and Peggy dancing together. They finally have, I'm getting chills just thinking about it right now. They get their final dance, not final dance, but they get their dance that they were talking about having right before Steve fell into the ice. When they finally got that dance, and we finally see the dance, and they kiss, and it ends right there. Guys, this is literally, I've seen this movie 3 times, like I said already, and it is my favorite Marvel movie. Maybe one of my favorite comic book movies. This movie is perfect, is everything that we needed, is everything that we wanted, and more. And that's the crazy thing is that they give us what we want. We think, okay, you gave us what we want, good, but that's not it. They gave us more. They gave us Cap holding Mjolnir. They give us Cap saying, Hail Hydra. They have fucking Tony Stark sacrifice himself to save the world. We have every single Avenger that we've ever known all behind Captain America and him saying Avengers Assemble. We have Smart Hulk. We have anything you would ever want in this movie and more. We have time travel. We have a good story. We have great character development. We have a great arcs of characters. I think the arcs of Thor, Iron Man, and Steve all got resolved at the end of this. They all got their arcs resolved after this. Thor's going off with the Guardians of the Galaxy, which I can't wait for. Thor's going to be probably part of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which I'm really excited about that. I can't wait to see what they do with that. Cap's in the 40s, and Iron Man saved the world and sacrificed himself for it, and now has a daughter to carry on his legacy. And I think it's beautiful. I love this movie. This is a 10 out of 10 movie. I would even give it 100 out of 10 if I can, because that's how good this is. I think it's the final act is some of the best final acts of any comic book movie ever. This is probably one of my favorite movies ever. I gotta say, I think it's actually up there now. It's probably one of my favorite movies ever. This movie is that good. I love talking about this. I can go on and on talking about this movie forever, but we don't have all that time in the world to do that, sadly. But let me know down in the comment section what you thought about the movie. Let's discuss about this movie down in the comment section. Did you like it? Did you love it as much as I did? Did you have problems with it? Let me know your problems with it if you did have problems. I would really like to know. I'd really like to, maybe if you can let me in on some stuff that I missed. Maybe I can help you not have problems with it anymore. Who knows? Just comment down in the comment section and let me know. Make sure you like this video and subscribe so you stay tuned for more videos. And while you're at that, go check out my other videos that I have up. I have great videos of great reviews up on my channel. Go check them out if you want. And as always, see you guys later.